Thanks to the support as a channel member, James Hansen. Well, after sort of saving our season over the last couple of episodes, in fact, forget that. We absolutely saved our season. We're in the Champions League. We might have lost the FA Cup final, but we're back in the Champions League. We've got money to spend. This is a very, very important and significant transfer window coming up. Hello and welcome to part 137 of Bourne Again. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and transfer special with Bourne. Oh, you can see it. I've outed my wrist support in a video. I normally don't show this in videos. Oh, I'm all embarrassed by... I've hurt my wrist. I've hurt my wrist. We have money though, £65 million to spend. Not much in the way of spare wage budget, but there's certainly players who are attracting interest of other clubs, and potentially a few players we might be willing to move on. Arnautovic is leaving permanently already. I think that's the only transfer that's already prearranged. Yeah, there's potential money coming in from, I don't even know, who is this guy? Almadin Muller. Oh, that's money we could pay somebody else. That makes more sense. I'm not paying anybody anything. What is this nonsense? But looking at our team report and starting to plan for a Champions League campaign, I think the first thing we probably need to be looking in terms of planning is a potential switch to that as a system, and then working out where we need to plug the gaps here. It does mean potentially Ariel could move on, or it might be nice to keep him around as an option. I mean, he can play central midfield, to be honest, so we probably don't need to move him on. Interesting to see that Steinman can play there pretty close to naturally, but not in a role that I would want him to do. But that's a good start. So I think what we need to go and do is go out and get ourselves a really good defensive midfielder, and then not a lot else. If there's a 5-star keeper, we'll take him. You look at the squad and think we probably need a 4 or 5-star striker, but then you look at Gomez and think, why? How's he going to be better than that? Has he got to his 100 goals for us yet? Records. 96 goals now for Christian Gomez in a Bourne shirt. There's just no reason to sign a striker over the top of him. Other than that, I guess we'll see how the summer takes us. If someone like Cernajacki is prized out of my clutches, then obviously we need to do a little bit more business. But I think this might actually be a relatively sensible summer. Gomez has been left out of the World Cup squad. Absolute insanity. I mean, we probably need to start dealing with that, and ideally not add to that too much. So I might try and avoid the never this summer and just buy 1 or 2 players with money that we've got and money generated from sales, and try and make some inroad into the transfer debt and the overall club debt. Getting back in the Champions League will go a long way towards helping with that. So we'll see how it turns out. If this is an hour long, I ignored all of those rules I've just set myself and signed 6 players, and then we'll see where we end up. But this is our new overall best 11. Sarmiento has made it into the all-time best 11 alongside Mira. And the team now has Sir Alan Hardy in goal, who of course left us for Sheffield Wednesday midway through the season and is now starting regularly for them down in League One. A back four of Barnes, who's still playing for LAFC. He's been there a long time now. He's been at LAFC longer than he was with us. He could probably count. I mean, he could get his US citizenship in 46 days. That's a long stay that he's had there. Mira is in the back four now, which, I mean, he can't play there, as far as I know. I've certainly never played him there. Apparently, he's an accomplished centre-back. I believe that when I see it. Alongside Da Silva, and then Lastra at right-back, who's also still over in the MLS for Columbus, and he's been there as long as he was with us. Shows how long we've been in the Premier League now. Arnautovic and Sarmiento midfield. Arnautovic is leaving this summer. Gomez on the left wing. Robinson, who we're almost certainly not going to sign back on loan, and Cernajacki supporting the one weird player that's still in here, Jacob Quinn, who we need Cook to force his way into the team so Gomez can take his spot up front, and then another defender, Diaz maybe, to come in just there, and then I could maybe get on board with that as an actual best 11 of the series. And the end of season awards, Jackie, in an absolute landslide, 77% of the votes, has won player of the year. Gomez runner up with 13, De Silva with 7% of the vote. Goal of the season went to Arango, and it's very early on, 2nd of August. Is this even in the Community Shield, maybe? Did City win the league last year? Or is this just right at the start of the season? I'm sure it will tell us. It doesn't tell us. Does this look like the Etihad or Wembley? No way of knowing. Ricardo plays it across. Jackie nods down, and Arango, I mean, he hit that hard. That's a good goal. I'll let him have that. Bakita gets signing of the season for 17.68 million, and Jackie, probably for the last time at 23 years old, wins our Young Player of the Year award. But goodness me, in his 4 years at Bourne, has he won some personal accolades. If this boy doesn't go on to win the Ballon d'Or one day, there's no justice in the world. Team of the year is Bakita in goal, a back four of Geladucci, Diaz, Da Silva and Arango, Sarmiento and Steinman in midfield, Cook, Ricardo, Jackie behind Gomez up front. Can't argue with any of that. Top scorer, obviously Gomez with 31, highest average rating, Jackie, most assists, Jackie, pass completions, Bakita, man of the match is Jackie again, and then Diaz and Cook are the naughty boys club. So with Cook, as well as getting injured all the time, he's been sent off twice as well. This boy, as talented as he is, he's a bit of a liability. Only managing 38 games across 2 seasons at the club because he can't stay on the pitch for various reasons. If we got a big money offer for him, I don't think I'd be against accepting it. We were supposed to finish mid-table and got in the Champions League again, so we've overachieved once again. And club expectations, this high reputation. Oh, we had to leave that on last summer, didn't we? So they're looking for top half finish in the Premier League and first knockout round of the Champions League. That's more than doable. But by 3 years' time, want to be recognised as best of the rest. So does that mean, like, because that's weird, because in the following year is Europa League qualification and then Champions League qualification. So the 5-year plan here is to be a regular Champions League team. I don't think Simic Powell has looked at the club finances. If he has, he'd realise we need to be a regular Champions League team now or we have serious problems. Our team leaders are Jackie, Mira and Diaz. That's interesting that Diaz has already moved up to team leader, despite not being at the club as long as the likes of Da Silva or Gomez. Obviously, some proper good leadership qualities. Maybe a future captain for us, as I think it's probably time to move Mira on from the captaincy because he doesn't play as often anymore. Team meeting-wise, we want to talk about finishing top half, so let's talk about finishing top half. That pleases everybody, so they go away for the summer happy. Here's your confirmation how much of the season Cook missed with injury. 41% of the season missed with injury. Although on the other end of that scale, showing how well we managed him, watch him get a long injury next year now. I'm looking for Jackie on this list. I mean, he must have missed some time at some point, but barely any. Can't even find him. Where is... Right, do it alphabetical. Jackie missed 9% of the season. 5 different injuries, but I don't think that's too bad. End of season break, training camp destination. Why not go to China? And we don't want to know about the Arsenal game or that. Right, I guess we'll just see what comes up on our scout reports, really. So weird. Summers get weird at this point of the save because they don't take me anywhere near as long to do because I'm not trawling through all the free transfers. There's no point doing any of that stuff now. Literally is just looking at what's scouted and seeing if there's anybody who fits the criteria that I've already kind of got set up for myself. There's 2 very talented, very young defensive midfielders there who would be crazy. I mean, can't afford any of those 3. And then there's Oatway who couldn't get in the team this year. And that kind of says it all about how transfers are for us now. So they're both at Chelsea. Why did Chelsea need 2 of these? That is exactly what I want, a deep lying playmaker. He's 23 years old. He just seems so perfect. He could be my Vermonti. Can this guy play there as well? No, he's an anchorman. And he's Argentinian. They're both playing regularly. This is the guy we want. Now we just need to break the bank and sign him. Oh, it's ridiculous. Well, this isn't good news. We're obviously skint. It is interesting to see. I think that's the first time we've been told we could expand up to 25,000 seats, but we just can't afford to do it at the moment. And here I am considering spending £100 million on one player, which I'm probably going to do. Priorities all wrong. Well, I signed him for £110 million, added another £50 million to the transfer debt. He's the only signing we need to do this summer. Joseph Addo, he is the perfect player for the role that we want in the system that we want to use. He's a proper world-class player. Even if we ended up using him in central midfield, he's better than Steinman. He's better than Sarmiento. He's a huge improvement in an area we needed to improve hugely. And I think this is the system that we can now use next season. Whether we go full attacking like we did with Bayern and Barcelona in non-league legend, I'm not sure. We might put it to positive. But I think what we found, the reason we ended up on an attacking version of this is because it was always a little bit toothless unless we went really attacking. But I think that is a very good side that could win the Premier League. Now, whether we've got the strength in depth in certain areas, obviously we've got Juninho and Gervin who can come in there. Ricardo can come in there. Zimmerman's still at the club. Bellico can offer cover there. We've got Sarmiento and Mira who can offer cover in, I guess, all of these positions. We've got Nixon Burke, the young English wonder kid who can be anywhere across here. Ansong or Giladucci can move over there and Regulus can come in. We've got Mazzinho. I think it's a good squad. I genuinely think we might not need to do any more business, and it's the 10th of June. This could be the shortest transfer special I have ever done. Shall we see what happens? You know how long's left on the video. I genuinely have no idea how long is left on this video. We've sold Tons as well. We've had a big offer for Pereira, and he did want to leave. The problem Pereira's got is he's not as good as the two players who are ahead of him, but he's a very good backup. But then we've got Nixon Burke as a good backup as well. And as we could use the money, who have we actually got as a fifth centre-back? If we have a look at our depth, Mira, apparently. We must have a youngster who can play centre-back. Addo can play there as well. We kind of need to get him out of the way to give him enough game time this year. He's 20 years old now. He hasn't really played much in the last couple of years, but he has enormous potential. Do we have a young centre-back? Should we have a look at the development centre? Are any of you a centre-back? Centre-backs, anyone? Of course none of you are centre-backs. We must have a young centre-back in the under-23s who's getting close to first team level. Anatovic. Wow. Monrose. Maybe he could be our fourth choice. Maybe not. I certainly don't want to sell this guy for less than we paid for him, and I'm certainly not selling with a wage contribution, so they can forget all that nonsense straight away. Confirmation of our record transfer and the record transfer for a Ghanaian player. And that is all our money gone, by the way. We're spent up. We are done. Now we just sit and wait for something to happen and pretend that hasn't already happened. Well, here you go. Something happened almost immediately. I thought that's a little bit weird. Ariel, what's up with Ariel? And then I noticed his contract's up next summer and he doesn't want to discuss a new one. So we need to get value for him. Man City and Real Madrid are two of the teams that are in for him. We paid 18 million. I'm a little bit annoyed because he was very much part of my plans. He was in that 11, but Sarmiento can drop in there. But we need to get proper value for this guy. And I'm thinking like double what his value is showing as. I know he's got a year left on his contract. He's got an 8. I tell you what, should we start things off at 82 million? That's his release clause. Let's see if anyone's going to bite at 82 million. Right, we've had an offer from Everton. They offered 35. We've managed to weasel them up to 45.5 up front, another 2.8 million in instalments and a 20% sell-on. So total value of 48.5 million plus a 20% sell-on. But it's only the 14th of June. I think it's too early to sell for this kind of price. I think that's put a marker down that we're not going to accept less than that. If we get an offer for less than that, we'll let him go for free next year. I think that's our marker, but I'm not ready to sell him that cheap. I want to keep him. And I do think if we get beyond September and we get into the Champions League groups, which we're in the Champions League groups anyway, he should stay once he realises we're a Champions League club. Or Paris Saint-Germain can come and offer us big money, or Man City can come and offer us big money, or Bayern Munich. The clubs that are in for this boy, I'm not letting him go for that kind of price. Let's offer him out at 70 million and see what happens. Well, we've just gone through a full cycle of offering Ariel out again at non-negotiable prices, starting at 80, dropping down in £5 million increments. We've got as low as 50. Everton is still the only club in for him. We've got them up to a non-negotiable £50 million flat offer now, which, I mean, it depends how his career goes, whether that's better or worse than the one they offered before. That was 48.5 million with a 20% sell on. I almost think that other one might be better. There's so many clubs in for him, but no one making offers. So I suspect what we might have... Hello? I mean, I'd happily keep him. I will happily keep him. What's he on at the moment? 74. I'd rather keep him than sell him, that's for sure. He's part of my plan. You want too much money in Numbskull. Get down to that. I'd much rather keep him than sell him. That little bit of excitement looks like it's over. And we move on. This has, of course, got me thinking in terms of who else is out of contract next summer. And obviously renewing those contracts or moving those players on. And there are a few here that, okay, it is actually time to move on because I don't see a reason to offer them an improved contract. Bellico, I think, probably could get a new contract. He's 29. He turns 30 this month, but he is a very useful backup to Cerner Jackie, and I don't think we'll do better as a backup. So I think Bellico probably gets a new deal. Mazzinho, on the other hand, when we've got a couple of good young goalkeepers at the club in the shape of Simic, we've got Beagles as well. I don't know that we offer Mazzinho big money to stay. He's on a lot of money. Mira, again. Mira is a useful man to have around, especially in the new system that we're going to be doing. I think Mira probably does get a new deal. And Nautovic and Ionesco will both be leaving anyway. Zimmerman, we probably want to move on because... Yes, he's only 22. He's still got a little bit of potential, but he's done. He had that one season, just didn't impress me, and he's done. Rothwell can move on. And this is a bunch of kids that we can probably move on because, I mean, they don't look like they're ever going to be good enough for us, do they? We've got so many players out of contract next summer. This is the new plan. This is what I need to be working on. Just notice Gloria Corber is speaking for the entire comment section here. Don't get the attachment to Ariel. He's not all that. I'm more of an Esme or a Jeff. I think we all have to remember he's still only 22 and we've been playing him there. We're now going to play him here. This boy has potential. I'm an Ariel fan. Just had our playing expectations come through and noticed that one of our youngsters that we just randomly brought in at some point in the past for £1 million has been upgraded to Wonder Kid status. Apparently he needs to find a new club. What he actually needs to do is get moved up into the first team mix. So Oatway's going to be gone. We need to get rid of Mira, get him out of the way, and get Alex Laval into the first team mix, especially because presumably he's going to become homegrown very soon as well. We're trying to offer these players out. Still no joy. Right, we've started having a little bit of a clear out to try and justify the ridiculous spend on Addo. And to be fair, we're not doing too badly. £78 million raised. Arnautovic has gone for £6 million. Mazzinho has gone for £7.5 million. And Pereira's gone for £38.5 million, rising to £53 million, which I think is a fantastic piece of business for him. He's a player we bought a year ago for £25 million. He's failed in the Premier League twice with both Arsenal and us, and we've sold him on at an enormous profit. So I'm not complaining about that piece of business at all. We've also sold Zimmerman to Brighton. Agostino and Amlang have both gone out on loan as two backup strikers. Amlang, as much as we've enjoyed Amlang, or the idea of Amlang, I don't think he's ever going to make it. He's out on loan to the Championship, age 22. He's probably done. We'll leave him out there for the year and see what happens. And we've also sold Mira to Brighton for £20 million as well, which means our squad depth currently, if we leave it on 2 stars, Amlang's still showing on there. I'm actually trying to get rid of Gervin because I'd like to bring in another striker. And also looking at my strikers, we've got young Sebastião, who came in last summer, who is he's the Brazilian wonder kid who became French when he arrived. But he's showing as a genuine wonder kid, 5-star potential. He's a striker, so we need to get him involved in the mix. We don't want him to go the same way as Amlang has gone before him. Janino's still only 21 and has 5-star potential. Gervin, 24 years old now. He's been here for 3 years and only scored 9 league goals in that time. In nearly, 60 games for the club? So we're looking to move him on. If we can get something in the region of 50 million for him, I'll be delighted. We could do with one more defender, although Addo can play there if he absolutely has to. And we've got Beagles and Simic, who've both stepped up into the first team squad to be backups for Bakita in goal. I don't think we need anything else, but it would be nice to bring in like a 4th choice defender and maybe that 4.5, 5-star striker that we've wanted for so very long. If he exists, we will find him. Well, this is an interesting potential development for the summer. We've just turned down a £90 million offer for Cerna Jackie and a £48 million offer for Arango. Arango's actually got an £89 million release clause, which we should probably try and remove, considering it's Barcelona and Real Madrid who want him. Arango might be gone. Cerna Jackie doesn't have a release clause, but obviously has the potential to have his head turned if there's enough money being thrown around. But he is on a 4-year contract that he signed only about 6 months ago. So hopefully we keep Cerna Jackie. If Arango goes, we obviously then need to go and find a right back. Meanwhile, we have our 4.5-star striker. His name is Ricardo Soma. He is our new number 10. He's got an A rating. He looks like a great replacement for Michael Amlang, apparently. He's a 4.5-star Argentinian striker, 9 caps, 2 goals for Argentina currently. He is quick. He's a good finisher. He was only £18 million. That's our boy. We need to get rid of Gervin now. We have a world-class striker. Something we've never had before here at Bourne, although we all know Gomez is really. But with Soma actually offering a proper option against Gomez, rather than whenever Gomez comes off, nobody's scoring goals. Because even Janino, who's still considered a wonder kid, he's only got 8 goals in these 3 years here. Between Gervin and Janino as our backup strikers, for the last 3 years, they have less than 20 goals between them. Something tells me Soma scores more than 20 goals this season. Well, I think transfers are done. We now have some cover in for defensive midfielder and centre-back in the shape of Carlos Bonilla, a 26-year-old Colombian international. He's not spectacular in either position, but he gives us cover that we needed in both of those positions. Allows Nixon Burke to be our proper backup centre-back. Bonilla's there as well. We've also got Anton Smirnov, who's been brought in as another youngster for £4 million to cover this. We did try and sell Gervin. No one wanted to pay for him, but he's gone out on loan to Lyon. They're paying his full £150,000 a week wages, and there's a future fee of £35 million on there as well. So either way, it's got him off the wage bill for the year. Finance-wise, we're in the Champions League, so ignore that. Ignore this. Ignore it all. We're within our budgets. That's the important thing. And FFP will hopefully right itself. And if it doesn't, we'll just have to take the 1-year suspension out of the Champions League and take our medicine. But we've got a really, really good squad now. So we're in the Champions League this coming year. Let's just go and win it. So that brings us to the end of the transfer window. 4 players in, 3 of them, 2 of them especially, huge first-team players, Addo and Soma, going to change the way we play completely. Smirnov, a youngster, and Bonilla, our backup, to cover a couple of positions. And lots of players sold, £78 million of players sold. Lots of players who were clogging up the system got out of the way. Yes, this is obviously going to be a worry for those of you who worry a lot about money in Football Manager. We'll just play it by ear. If we have to sell a player, you know what? We could clear that by selling Cerna Jackie and Arango tomorrow. We've just turned down a £60 million offer for Ricardo from Bayern Munich. we've got a lot of valuable players that if it did actually get to the point where the club had insecure finances, which we still don't, we're still classed as okay because we've got all the Champions League money to come, all the Premier League money to come. If it actually got to the point where this was showing as insecure and the board told me to sell, we could sell 2 or 3, take a year or 2 as a mid-table team and rebuild. But we may as well push on and try and win stuff while the board are happy for me to keep doing it. And at the end of the day, I'm the manager of the football team, not the chief financial officer. So we won't worry about that. I know lots of you will. I still won't. And we'll move on from that in tomorrow's episode. In fact, it's a hideous start to the season. Burnley and Liverpool, 2 of the best teams from last year. It's going to be a real test of how our new look team looks in our new look system. I think that is a team and a half. We'll see how we get on tomorrow. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.